three-piece band, like bass, guitar and drums. I was going, oh, great. Because I'm used to actually fitting in with a whole lot of noise, but it was really fantastic. It turns the voice into another instrument and also, you know, accentuates what you're doing.
But this clarity of voice, it's possible that society might not let you go back to rock. Are you accepting this?
I can handle it, you know. I don't think I'll ever stop doing rock and roll because I love it so much.
Tell me about the family band you started on all those years ago in Unzedland.
The family band?
What was it called?
You're talking about the very first band we had?
Your family band.
My mother used to play stride piano. She was a self-taught piano player, which is very good. And she used to play, you know, put your sweet lips a little closer to the phone like this with the two hands moving that way. And my father played saxophone by numbers. He was actually quite good, but he had convinced himself he was tone deaf, so he had to learn the saxophone by going 7, 6, 8, 12, 4, 6. You know, and my brother Todd, who was a good musician, played bass or guitar, and I used to play drums and sing. We'd go out and do doos, they used to call them. We used to go and do a do.
That's right, yeah, doos.
The Alconi Hall, do a do, you know, for a 21st or something like that. And they were great. It was like really country, and people used to sit around on hay bales, and the guys would be down this end of the hall, the women would be up this end of the hall with the plates of lamingtons, and sort of, it'd be like that for 3 hours while we were going, and then it would suddenly erupt at about midnight, and people would just be fighting and vomiting, and you had to be there.
It's almost like rock and roll, isn't it?
Well, it's close.
So when were the seeds of rock and roll sown, or were they latent even then?
I always liked it because I think I was attracted to the power of it. You know, it's a great cathartic release for people to actually hear and to sing rock and roll. You know, you can scream and fall down on the floor and gnash your teeth and roll around, and it's all perfectly acceptable. So I like that.
So Dragon was formed actually in New Zealand, wasn't it?
My brother Todd formed Dragon when I was still at school. He formed Dragon, and they used to play campus gigs. You know, they'd go around and do the teachers' colleges and things like that. When I left school, I went to Auckland and went to stay with Todd and his friends, and didn't have a job. So I said, well, look, I'll play bongos and come and sing with you. And they said, yes, all right. And we were together about 3 years, really, before we came to Australia in 1975.
What was Fame like?
What was it like?
Especially in the 70s, though, in those marvellous days.
Fame, it's just kind of like, it's just like failure postponed a bit, isn't it, really? Fame was interesting, you know, lots of girls, lots of fun. Pretty boring, really, when you look back on it. Not as good as a good glass of wine and being with my family.
I'm sure that's not what you thought at the time, though.
No, my horizons were pretty limited. You know, I'd do whatever I did and think it was great.
You left in '79. Was it disagreement or going off to seek your fortune part 2 or what?
I was pretty tired. You know, we'd been working non-stop from 75 through 79, working maybe 7 or 8 gigs a week. And it just got to the point where I couldn't really distinguish between what was off stage and what was on stage, and everything was just kind of like an excuse for me to strut my ego around, and I got a bit out of control. And consequently, I had to bail out. I went to Europe for a while and walked around.
Being anonymous for a while?
Yeah, I went to Morocco and got...
Yeah. And then what? The desire came to return, or did you get a phone call at 3 in the morning, or what?
No, I just... I drifted back into it, really, because it's the only thing I know how to do, you know. When I was younger, I thought I could do anything. I could be a brain surgeon or a horticulturist or whatever.
Jobs, didn't you?
Well, I did lots of different things, but as you get older, you realize that you can only really do the thing that you have done. You know, you become less and less capable of doing a multitude of things, and more stuck in the thing that you are what you pretend to be, you become.
All right, so 2 questions, and they're quite opposite ones. What's the worst thing you think you've ever done?
The worst thing I've ever done? I probably couldn't tell you on television, really. I've done some pretty awful things. Yeah. But most of them with a very, very good attitude.
Right.
A light heart.
So premeditated bad things, were they?
No, not really, just sort of accidents. Yeah. Accidents happen.
All right. What's the best thing you think you've done, or is that yet to come?
The best thing I've ever done was actually being in the right place at the right time to meet my wife.
Yeah. You get on pretty well.
Yeah, we do.
It's nice, isn't it?
It is the best.
Now, you mentioned that, in fact, you left in '79, you wanted to check where you were in the world. Is this departure into middle of the road and this gentle stuff in your new album, which is night and day, is this another round of you trying to find yourself, or is it a diversion?
Not really. I had always liked that sort of music. I grew up listening to those songs like this, and I was a bit of a crooner always. I wasn't really a committed rock and roll person. I mean, committed rock and roll people sing in a certain way. I've always been sort of a cabaret come pop music singer, really.
I've got to say, track one, Walk On By, is just terrific.
Yeah.
It reminded me of what a great song it was. I haven't heard anyone but you and Dion wanting to do it.
The great thing about that album is that all the songs are so great, it's very hard to do them badly.
No, that's probably a good line to use, but there are people who've screwed up lovely standards, and you can't screw up a standard. It's a great album, Mark. I hope you keep doing that sort of stuff.
Thank you.
I mean, I was similar vintage. I understand rock and roll, but also understand not losing my hearing. All right, Mark Hunter is going to wander over to Jamie Rigg. They're going to patch up their differences, and he's going to sing a song from the album.